So, good morning, students. And today we will be continuing with the chapter life process, which we were doing. And today we will be starting with the third life process, that is transportation. Okay, we have already completed two life process, that is nutrition and respiration. And now today we will be starting with the third life process, that is transportation. Okay, so before going into that, what transportation is, do any one of you, do you have any idea regarding this word transportation? You will raise your hand. I will unmute you. What is transportation? Anyone? What is transportation? From the word itself. Okay, don't go for the technical definition. The word transportation, this is very simple. As because suppose you are coming to the school, you are availing the transportation facility and you are going to any other place, then also you are using the word transportation. So if I ask you the meaning of the word transportation, what does it means? Okay, Ramita, unmute yourself. Ramita, unmute yourself. Transportation, what does the word means?
Sir, movement or transporting something from one part to another part.
Okay, very good. That is a transfer, or we can say the movement from one part to another part. That is a transportation. We are not going for the technical definition now. Yes, definitely correct. That is the movement or the transfer of the material, or we can say a person or any type of the material from one place to another. That is a transportation. Now, in this chapter, life process, we will be studying the transportation of, or we can say the transportation in the human being and the transportation in case of the plants. First, we will be discussing about the transportation in the human beings, and then we will be discussing the transportation in case of the plant. So first of all, we will be seeing what does the technical definition for the transportation. It is a process of the movement of the water and other molecule to the concerned part of the organism. Suppose we are taking an example, or first of all, we have to say that suppose we are taking or we are concerned with the transportation of the water, then that will be the movement of the water. If we are saying about the transportation of the water and the mineral togetherly is called sap, and definitely that has to be transported from one place to another. Now, students, can you recall in class 9, you have studied the chapter tissue. In plants, which tissue is responsible for the conduction of water and the minerals? Okay, Ayush raised his hand. Okay, Ayush, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Which tissue, Ayush?
Sir, xylem.
Xylem, very good. Okay, and which tissue is responsible for the transportation of the food material in plants?
Sir, phloem.
Phloem. Okay, fine. Okay, Ayush. Now, since this I asked you so that we can link up what you have studied in class 9 and now in class 10. And if you are talking about in the same chapter tissue, you have studied about the tissues which are responsible for the circulation or the transportation of the blood also. Now, can you tell me, students, that if we are talking about the transportation of the important materials in the body, which connective tissue transports this in the human? Transportation of the respiratory gases. Okay. Okay, Ayush, again, unmute yourself.
Sir, blood.
Blood, very good. Blood is the major, or we can say the fluid connective tissue, which is responsible, or it performs a number of functions like transportation of the respiratory gases, transportation of the hormones. Okay, so these are some of the functions performed by the blood. So if you are talking about the human circulatory system, first we'll be concerned with the human circulatory system. If you are concerned with the human circulatory system, it consists of blood, heart, and blood vessels. First, we will talk about blood. Definitely, the blood is a fluid connective tissue. And regarding the component of the blood, any idea? The participants regarding the components of the blood? Again, Ayush raised his hand. This time I want others also to participate. What are the components of the blood? Tanvi, unmute yourself, Tanvi. What are the components of blood, Tanvi?
Sir, RBC,
Yes, go ahead.
WBC, plasma,
Okay. RBC, WBC,
platelets.
plasma, platelet. Okay, okay, Tanvi, well said. Though she has told all the four components togetherly, but whenever students remember, we have to classify, or we have to state the component of the blood. We have to say it under two headings. First is, we should always say that the components of the blood, that is, number one, we have to say plasma. Okay, number one, we have to say plasma. Okay, now what is a plasma? Plasma is actually the matrix, the fluid matrix in which the different component of the blood is present. And then if you are talking about the second component are your formed elements. And these formed elements consist of three parts. What are these? Number A, we are saying RBC, B we are saying WBC, and C, the third part we will be justifying, or the third part is platelets. Platelets. Okay, so if you are talking about the two major components, one is the plasma. Plasma constitute the maximum percentage. Formed elements consist of RBC, WBC, and the platelets. RBC, definitely it is red due to the presence of we are knowing, just let me, due to the presence of, can you tell me, student, due to the presence of which pigment? Very good, Tanvi. Yes, quickly. Tanvi, RBC is red due to
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin. Okay, correct. Hemoglobin. So definitely it is the carrier of the respiratory gases. WBC, white blood cells, that helps in the defense mechanism of the body, and the platelets helps in blood clotting. Okay, so one by one we will be discussing about each of these. So first of all, an overall view that what are the components of the blood. So these are the component of the blood, and what function does the blood perform? Definitely the blood help in the transportation of the respiratory gases. It help in the transportation of the hormones, and also definitely the waste material is also being transported by the blood. Okay, so regarding the component and the function of the blood, is it clear to all? Is it clear to all the students regarding the component and the function of the blood? Through the chat box? Okay, fine. Yes. Okay, yes. Yes, I got the remark. Now, after this, the second component, after this, we'll be coming to the second component, and that is the heart, the major one, the heart. Now, heart is a pumping organ. Now, students, can you tell me why we are saying heart as a pumping organ? Why we are using this word heart as a pumping organ? You will say because it pumps the blood. Okay, it pumps the blood. Now, first of all, yes. See, first of all, student, remember, whenever we will talk or discuss about the human heart, in that reference, we should also talk about the evolution of heart. And what is the evolution of heart? Evolution of heart means in class 9, you have studied the chapter diversity. There, the class Mammalia were divided into the class first we will be saying the class the last one which we all have studied, the phylum Vertebrata. The phylum Vertebrata is divided into how many classes? Can you recall, student? Phylum Vertebrata is divided into how many classes? Phylum Vertebrata is divided into how many classes? Okay, some of you have given the answer. Okay, let me recall. Phylum Vertebrata is divided into the 5 classes, and they are as follows. Number one is Pisces, that is a fish. Number 2, amphibians or amphibia. Number 3, reptiles. And number 4, is aves. And the last is number 5 is your mammals. Okay, Pisces, amphibia, reptiles, aves, and mammals. Now, students, remember, after this, I'll be telling you regarding the chambers of the heart in each classes. Okay, the Pisces have 2-chambered heart. Then comes your amphibia. Amphibia also has 2-chambered heart. Then comes your reptile. Reptile is also having reptiles are also having 2-chambered heart, but one exception is there. That is crocodiles, that has 3-chambered heart. Aves have how many? 4-chamber heart, and mammals have also 4-chamber heart. Now, why I'm saying this, students, this is very important because this, from the point of view of the evolution, it is important. Now, as you are seeing, student, we are moving down from the Pisces up to the mammals. The heart chamber goes on increasing. This is because these organisms, after the Pisces and the amphibia, reptile, apes, and the mammal, they need high, or for doing their various activity, they are high energy needed organism. So for performing there is various activities, the energy requirement is maximum, and more the chamber of the heart, definitely that will fulfill the maximum energy requirement of that organism. So did you understood, student, the evolution of heart? Because sometimes I have also allotted this project work on the topic of the evolution of the heart. Is it clear to all that why we are seeing, or why we are witnessing the number of the chambers of the heart is going on increasing from the Pisces up to the mammals? Student, is it clear? Through the chat box, you give me the reply. Yes, students, through the chat box, you give me the reply. Okay, once again, I'm telling you, student, the phylum Vertebrata is divided into the 5 classes, starting from Pisces, which is a fish, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and the mammals. Pisces, or the fishes, have 2-chambered heart. Amphibia also has 2-chambered heart. Reptile also has 2, but one exception is there, the crocodiles. 1 minute. Just a moment, student. Okay, so student, once again, evolution of the heart, that part I am doing as because there was a. So altogether, students, yeah, how many phylum, into how many classes the phylum Vertebrata is divided? Into how many classes phylum Vertebrata is divided? 5. Okay. So yes. So so altogether, yes. Can you name now? Okay. Let me do. Yes. The first one. Definitely, the first one is the Pisces. Pisces have how many chamber? 2 chambered. Next is your amphibian. Amphibia has how many chambered heart? 3 chambered heart. Then you have number 3, the reptiles. The reptiles have how many chambered heart? The reptiles have 3 chambered heart, but one exception is there, except crocodiles, that has 4 chambered heart. Then we have number 4, aves. These aves have 4 chambered heart. And now number 5, the last, the mammals. The mammals have 4 chambered heart. Okay. So the Pisces have how many chambered? 2 chambered. Amphibia have 3. Reptiles have 3, except crocodile that has 4 chambered heart. Aves have 4 chambered and mammals have the 4 chambered. So student, you can see with the advancement of the classes, the number of the chamber has increased. Why? Because of the high energy requirement. Okay, this part is clear to all. This part is clear to all the students now. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Now students, we will be discussing. Okay, fine. Now we will discussing the pumping organ, that is a human heart, in details. First of all, the human heart pumps the blood all over the body. It is a muscular organ which is big as our fist. This is called fist. Okay, fist. It is big as our fist. How many chambers it has? Human 4 chamber. And what are the name of this 4 chamber? Left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, and right ventricle. Okay, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Always remember, students, that what is your right is the left of heart. Okay, what is your right is the left of heart. So you will think that this part is the right, that is the left part of the heart. So don't confuse while labeling the 4 chamber, otherwise your whole answer will become wrong. So these are the 4 chamber, and let me discuss with you all the mechanism also, that how does the circulation of the blood occurs. See, for this I have to highlight more the diagram. See, students. You can see over here, it is written over here when it, just a moment. It is written over here that this is the, just a moment. Let me, I'm using some text to edit over here. Now, you can see over here, student, written Vena cava from the upper body. The name of this vena cava is superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Now, what does this vena cava do? This superior vena cava brings the deoxygenated blood from the upper part of the body and fills the right atrium. Okay, this superior vena cava brings the deoxygenated blood from the upper part of the body. See, this vena cava from the upper part of the body, the name of this vena cava is superior vena cava, and it brings the deoxygenated blood from the upper part of the body and fills the right atrium. Deoxygenated blood here means the blood in which oxygen is not there. Then you have the vena cava from the lower body. This is called inferior vena cava. So inferior vena cava is a tube that brings the deoxygenated blood from the lower part of the body, and togetherly they fill which chamber? The right atrium. Now, when this chamber is filled up, the valve which guard the opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle opens, and now the blood is filled up in the right ventricle. Now, when the right ventricle is filled up, then the deoxygenated blood is sent to the lung through this pulmonary artery. Okay, and when it is sent to the pulmonary artery into the lung, there it is getting oxygenated, and from the pulmonary artery, it is going to the lung for oxygenation, and then through the pulmonary vein, the oxygenated blood enters into the left atrium, and from the left atrium, the oxygenated blood now enters into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle through the aorta, it goes to the various body parts. I repeat once again, superior vena cava is a tube that brings deoxygenated blood from the upper part of the body and fills the right atrium. Inferior vena cava is a tube that brings deoxygenated blood from the lower part of the body and fills the right atrium. And when they fill the right atrium, the valve opens and the blood enters into the right ventricle. When the blood enters into the right ventricle, then the blood flows through the pulmonary vein into the lung for oxygenation, and then in the lung it is getting oxygenated, and through the pulmonary vein it is coming into the left atrium. When the left atrium is filled up, the blood enters into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle now the blood goes to the various body part through aorta. Now, this type of circulation in which the blood flow twice the heart in one cycle is called double circulation. And you can see over here a septum is there, which is a dividing wall. It prevents the mixing of the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood. Now, is it clear to all the students? Is it clear to all the students? Is it clear? I'm coming to that also, Ayush. Yes. Now, Ayush, as I told you, that double circulation, definitely it is a phenomena. See, the human heart has 4 chambers. The left part is concerned with the flow of the oxygenated blood, and the right part is concerned with the flow of the deoxygenated blood. So these 2 chambers, definitely the right and the left atrium, are concerned with the flow of the oxygenated and the deoxygenated. The left part is concerned with the flow of the oxygenated, and the right part is concerned with the flow of the deoxygenated. So twice the blood flows through the heart in one cycle twice, and that is called double circulation. And what is the significance? It meets the high energy requirement of the organism. Is it clear, Ayush? Ayush, is it clear? Okay, fine. Now, anyone who can briefly discuss this steps? Anyone who can briefly discuss these steps, raise your hand. Anyone? Okay. Okay, Ayush. Okay, Ayush, you can unmute yourself, Ayush.
Yes, sir.
Ayush, just discuss the mechanism, how what we have discussed, following the diagram also.
Sir,
Flow.
deoxygenated
Huh.
blood from different organs of the body enters the right atrium through superior vena cava.
Okay.
Then
From the
it goes to right ventricle.
now, first we have to say upper part. Upper part enters from the upper part of the body. The deoxygenated blood enters into the right atrium through superior vena cava, and from the lower part it enters with the help of inferior vena cava. Okay, go
Inferior
ahead.
vena cava.
Okay, progress.
Then the deoxygenated blood is pumped to the lungs through pulmonary artery.
Okay,
And sir, then there it is oxygenated.
okay,
From lungs, pulmonary vein transport the oxygenated blood to left atrium.
okay, fine.
And then it goes to left ventricle. And from
Hmm.
this goes to different organs of the body to aorta.
Okay, very good. Correct. So I hope this must be clear to all the students. Remember, student, definitely today I will also send the today's topic notes, and also you will practice the diagram of the human heart because it is one of the most important diagram. Okay.